And welcome back. My first guest is David Kirschtel, the Executive Director of the JCC of Rockland. Welcome, David.
Thank you, George. Happy to be here.
So, David, I've known you for a number of years, and the J is really a wonderful organization that does so much within our community. And I'd really like an opportunity for us to kind of talk about how you're working to secure the future of the J from a financial perspective, as well as some of the programs that you're involved with. But before we get to that, it's been a couple of years since you've been on the program, so let's kind of reintroduce you to our viewers.
Great. Again, George, very happy to be here. I can't believe that this year is the 20th year that I've been the CEO at the JCC. And for me, it feels like it's only been a couple of years. So I guess that means that I'm very happy in the position that I'm in. So I'm really happy to be able to share with you that the JCC and the building where the JCC is located, which is called the Jewish Community Campus, over the years that we've been there, which is now about 12 years, in that 12-year history, we've continued to see growth in all aspects of our programming. So I feel really good about it, whether it be early childhood, which is a full-day program for infants 6 weeks old to pre-kindergarten, which services more than 110 children, through our senior adults. Right. We are really meeting the needs of Clarkstown as well as the greater Rockland community.
So that's great. I want to pivot into some of the programs, but before we get to that, just let's give again our viewers a little bit of a flavor of who you are as a person. So you're a big Giant and New York Yankee fan, correct?
Without a question. So as you still might be able to tell, I'm always happy when people recognize my Boston accent. Right. I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts, and am still happily a Patriot, Red Sox, Celtic fan. And actually, I find it kind of enjoyable to be able to have a good time with my fellow Yankee fans, which I wish them good luck this year.
So David, when did you come down into Rockland County? How long have you lived down this way? And how did you end up over at the JCC?
Wow. Yeah. So good question, George. So I've been here now we've been here about 27, 28 years. We came to Rockland County from Massachusetts, where I was transferred with a company I was working with at the time, BFI, Browning Ferris Industries, which was a waste management company. And it worked out really well because my wife's parents are from Wayne, New Jersey, so this was a good location. And the bottom line is after we moved here and after 12 years with BFI, it was time for me to make a change. And my landlord at the time, Arnie Garlick, who owned the corporate park in Valley Cottage on Route 303, he suggested that I consider serving on the JCC board. And after I had left BFI, I had gone into business for myself in the telephone business. And the long and short of it is I came on the board. And ultimately, after 5 or 6 years serving on the board, I felt so strongly about the mission and the goals of the JCC that when the one and only executive director was leaving, I decided to apply for that position. And so here I am 20 years later, still only 35 years old, George, enjoying my work.
And you're doing a wonderful job there. And it's hard to believe, really, 20 years that you've actually been the CEO over at the JCC. So let's kind of pivot into, the JCC really is kind of the focal point and organizing place for an awful lot of programs and services that are very important to a lot of people within the community, but also obviously integral to the Jewish community here in Rockland County. So maybe you can just give a little broad overview of some of the programs and services that the JCC is involved with, and then I want to pivot from that and talk about how you're securing the future of the campus and of the future of the programs at the J.
Sure. So our goal is to serve the entire community, both the Jewish and the non-Jewish community. We'd like to be considered a welcoming home to everybody, and our goal is to service people of all ages. And from my perspective, there's no limit to the potential programming we can do. It's only a consideration of staffing requirements and making sure that it's programs that make sense for the community. So ultimately, we service, as I mentioned earlier, from infants in early childhood, which is a full-day program, full-day license program that operates from 7 in the morning till 6:30 at night. That program is only 6 years old and began with 18 children and now has more than 110 children.
Wow.
So that would tell you that a program doesn't grow that large that quickly if not for the quality of that program. So I feel great about that. Our summer camp programs, back in 2012, we had 50 children in one program. We now have 7 summer camp programs, multiple weekly camps, sports camps, weekly camps with different themes on a weekly basis that take place in the summertime, and we have 350 children a day who are at those summer camps.
Wow, that's
So
a sevenfold increase.
sevenfold increase. So again, it's about quality, but it's also about meeting the needs of the community. So we found that weekly camps are more cost effective for many families, and so there was a need, and we met that need. And of course, our senior adult program is one of our staple programs, which take place at the Simona and Jerry Chazen Senior Center at the JCC. And we are really a home away from home for many of our community seniors on a daily basis. They come in daily. At the same time, it's about health and wellness. An awful lot of people come to exercise at the JCC. We have a very large fitness and wellness center. We have approximately 3,000 users of the fitness center, and we're really proud of the quality of that as well. Besides those programs, there's teen programming. There are cultural programs, events like our Jewish Film Festival that attract more than 5,000 people on an annual basis. So the reality is there's activities for people all ages at the JCC.
No, absolutely, and I've been so impressed as well with just the opportunities where the building is utilized for a lot of outside activities, a lot of outside groups. I know pretty much every year during the election season, the League of Women Voters will host a forum there, particularly when they're countywide or more regional races. And in addition, it's really been a kind of a location when people needed to come together to be able to connect, grieve, and mourn and pray. After the Tree of Life shooting, which really I think was a pivotal point within our country, but also for the folks in the Jewish community. No one should feel unsafe going to a house of worship. And afterwards, there had to be 600 or 700 people or more at the JCC for a ceremony, which I think was just extremely well done. So, my hat's off to you for the access and the openness that the facility offers.
So I just want to share with you that what's unique about the building, and that's why we look at it as a campus, is there are other agencies in the building as well. So as you discussed the Memorial for Tree of Life, the Jewish Federation and Foundation of Rockland really put that ceremony together, and they're partners in the building with multiple activities. And as you're aware, Rockland Jewish Family Service, besides an awful lot of programming that they do for the community as well, they actually have a cafe that they operate in the lobby called Lillian's, named for a person who really made an impact in our community. But that cafe is staffed by young adults, high-functioning young adults who are learning a job to be able to work and gain work experience. So by all of us working together, and by the way, not just in the Jewish community, as you know, George, you played on our dodgeball team, where, quite frankly, we came in second place out of 12 nonprofits. And again, the goal of that was to bring the community together, to bring organizations all together, because the campus is really everybody's home.
Right. Well, you know, I very much enjoyed the dodgeball experience. I didn't play the first year. I played the second year, which was an awful lot of fun. And I guess it reminds you, you know, the movie. You know, there were a lot of good times there. You know, if you can dodge a wrench, you know, in our case, if you can dodge a politician, you can dodge a ball, right? So, why don't we just pivot? We've only got about 2 or 3 minutes left, but we have the marathon. When this airs, it'll probably be airing just a few days before the marathon, and we'll be airing after the marathon as well. But it's a very unique opportunity, and it's one of the other events that you're trying to do to kind of secure the future financially of the JCC campus and programs. Maybe you could speak to that and a couple of the other upcoming events that are taking place.
Sure. So as you mentioned, we are on Sunday, October 27th. We have the Walk for the Future. When we first moved in when we bought the building and we moved in roughly 2007, it was one of the worst times for the economy, and we were carrying a tremendous amount of debt. We've been able to manage that debt, which was as high as $13+ million, to now where it's just over $7 million, which is still far too much debt for us to carry. So we're working on a capital campaign, and the theme is securing our future. So because we've been working for 24 years since our first campus on Route 45, which was a 26,000 square foot building, our current home and our long-term home is about 140,000 square feet. We really it's been a marathon effort. So the concept was, let's do a walk beginning and ending at the Jewish Community Campus, walking the streets of Clarkstown, where we would walk, again, 26.2 miles, something that's significant because the effort required to secure the future is significant. So we've been training. We have more than 50 people who are walking, and we appreciate that you'll be joining us for that walk. And the goal is...
Looking forward to it. I think myself and Steve Blackman and a few others are walking, I think, the first quarter, I think about 6 or 7 miles.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
So the goal is to secure the future, and that's just the kickoff of our effort to raise significant funds for the future of the campus, because it's critical when you drive by that campus on the thruway and you see all the cars in the parking lot.
Yes.
It's critical that we secure the future for the entire community.
And then you have your annual events as well that'll be coming up in December. Maybe you could speak to that as well.
Sure. So we do have an event on Saturday night, November 16th, and that is a fundraising event. And the theme is We Are Rockland, because we are here for the Rockland community. So that information on all of these events, can be found on our website at jccrockland.org, and we certainly would welcome people to participate. And one other final point that I want to mention: anybody who is interested in coming to work out, especially if they maybe haven't worked out before, not only do we have a great fitness and wellness center, but we have a number of people. We have 4 pickleball courts, a number of people who come and play pickleball on a daily basis. So if anybody mentions you and the TV show and they come to the JCC, we're happy to provide them with a 1-month complimentary fitness and wellness membership.
That's great. I was afraid that you're going to say if anybody mentions me, you're going to make them pay double, but I'm delighted that that's great. So, and folks really should check it out. I mean, it's a beautiful campus. It's beautiful facilities. You've got an exceptional fitness center and just some very unique programming. And let me conclude with this. I really, I want to thank you, David, for your leadership. You've really been a leader at the JCC, but you've been a leader within the Rockland community over these past 20 years. And I know I personally value your friendship and your leadership within our own Clarkstown community. I know that, and as you're aware, we've had a number of meetings that take place on a regular basis. Just recently, next week after the filming of this program, but before it will actually air, we're again going to have a meeting with folks from the Jewish Federation, rabbis from every one of the houses of worship, and community groups that actually operate within Clarkstown, with the Clarkstown Police Department, with the chief, and to really kind of review security and what we've kind of done. And I know there's been a great working relationship between my administration, the police department, your place, but all the houses of worship. Not just the Jewish houses of worship, but in particular, for this point. And I want to thank you for your participation in that. You've always been willing. You've always been there whenever we've issues have arisen. And I think it's really been helpful to kind of promote a dialogue within the larger community, so that we can ensure that people are safe, not just at your facility, but at the other facilities where people will gather for religious purposes as well. But again, I just want to thank you for that effort, but more importantly for just your overall leadership. You're always there. You're supporting other not-for-profits, and in a very special and unique way. You've really made the JCC what it is today, and I commend you for that.
Well, I thank you for that, and at the same time, it takes partners to be successful, and frankly, you've been a terrific partner, not only to the JCC, but to the community, and I know that you, your administration, council members, the police chief, and the department, anytime we need anything, it's never a question of what you need. You ask, when do you need it, and you provide it. And so it's a great working relationship we value, and with everything that's going on in the world these days, we need to be positive. We need to stand together, because all of our voices count, but we need great partners, and you've been a terrific partner, and we look forward to a continued great relationship going forward. So thank you as well.
Well, great. Thank you, David. So stay tuned for our next guest. We'll be right back.